Hello and welcome to your last tutorial for your magazine cover duplication. We are going to take this thing to the, we're going to finalize it, just going to go through some details. We're going to add some drop shadows to our type, going to add a drop shadow to the picture, and we're going to add in that magazine to the top right. So the first thing we're going to do is add in some drop shadows. Now, because we see that if I take the original there, you can see that there's a bit of a drop shadow in behind. It's very soft, but it helps us see the type a little bit better. So let's go ahead and do the same thing to the type. So we just click on the text box, not the type itself, and it is under it's under effects. Now let's get out of here. I'm glitching. It's under effects, so object and effects. And you get like transparency and all these fun stuff. We're going to go into drop shadow right now, and make sure you turn preview on. And so here is where you can add in, you can make your drop shadow like really dark, really light. You can, here's the offset, which is like the distance away from your type, and this is the size of your blur. Like you could have like 0, and it's just going to be like that. In the original, it's actually pretty soft. You can barely notice it. So we're just going to do the same thing. Let's just bump that up. Oh, it's not the spread. It's the size. Sorry. We're going to make that nice and soft. We're going to make it pretty close to the type. All right, and actually we're going to make it pretty close to the type, and then we're going to make the size actually bigger, like that, and then back it off just a bit. Okay, so now it looks like that. So now what we got to do, hit OK. I'm glitching a little here, so it's getting a little slow. So maybe what I'll do now is, that's helping a little bit. I'm going to do it to a couple of boxes at the same time, and that'll speed things up. And maybe I'll just go ahead and select these, and then I can just go in and I can finesse them afterwards. So let's do these 3, but I'm just going to go Object, Effects, Drop Shadow again. And we're going to make them closer, shorten the distance, because this type is smaller, right? There, so that's getting, actually that's pretty good. I like that. I'm just going to leave that. This one is a little too pronounced. We're going to back that off. So Object, Effects, Drop Shadow, and let's just back that off to like about 4. There we go. I don't like that font, but if I was home, I'd be able to do it a bit better. These are not bad. Let's just take a look at the original. You can see it ever so slightly. It's not here, so we'll get it rid of there, but then it's just really soft there. So we'll just do the same thing, getting rid of it here. Object, Effects, Drop Shadow, and getting rid of it. And then this one, we're going to just be ever so soft. Okay, Effects and Drop Shadow. Control-Alt-M is the quick key. I do know the quick. Sometimes I forget where they are in the menu, just because I'm so used to using the key commands. But I figured just for the sake of showing you, it's important for me. Let's make that size maybe a little smaller, and even the distance even smaller. All right, not bad. Okay, so we're done with our drop shadows, except we're going to add a shadow to our subject here, our player, our athlete. We're going to go to, and actually, you know what we'll do? Let's move this guy off to the side so we can see what we're doing here. And so I've got our athlete selected. So let's go Object, Effects, and Drop Shadow. We can add the drop shadow to him. And so it's actually quite a big, it's got a big blur on it. I'm trying to get this box out of the way here so I can see both, but I don't think I can. They're going to make it nice and big. There we go. Okay. And then that's actually already better. It's going to make it really close to the subject. My resolution of my monitor is actually quite, oh yeah, I guess I could do that there too and adjust that automatically. The resolution of my monitor is set to to low just for the sake of doing this tutorial. I'm going to add a bit of a spread, which is kind of like it just adds a bit of it expands it a bit. And let's just go to make our blur just even more. I think my spread is too big. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to adjust the opacity back a little bit. Just a bit. And I think that I'm good. Okay, so that's the way it's going to look. I think that looks pretty sharp. So last thing we're going to do, we're going to put this magazine here. We're going to use this magazine. So let's go ahead and do that. First, let's save. There we go. All right, we're going to save that. And then we're going to export this file. So we're going to go File and Export this. And we're going to export this as a photo. So let's go. So we can do it at anything we want. We can do it as a PDF. We could import that. But for now, we're just going to do it as a JPEG. Okay. So we're going to call this small. And we're going to save it down. A box asks us like, what's the resolution of it? We don't have to. It's going to be so small. Let's reduce the resolution of it because it's going to be like less than half the size. And export. And so it's just going to take a second to generate a file. Done. So let's go ahead and place our own file. Let's go File and Place. And there is our cover all set to place in. We saved it as a JPEG that we can open up in Photoshop. So let's scale that down. And we're going to throw it into the top here. Let's just get the right size from it. Let's go to my transform tool, and we're going to bring that smaller. I guess I've moved the thing, so, and we're going to tilt it. A little too much. Now he has a double border around his too, but I think, what's that? Oh, okay. Because it's just hiding. Okay, let's just move this guy over again. Alright. Bring this guy back again. I think we're going to be close. Alright, and it's got a drop shadow. So let's just, I'm just going to bring that over here. So I'm just going to drag that over here. Oh, it's in the wrong layer, so we got to bring it to the top. So let's cut it. Going to bring it to where my top banner layer is, and I'll paste it into that layer. And so then it's where we want it to be. Actually, this is a good teachable moment. If I were to, I just paste it in, and it pasted into like just the middle of the document. Let's undo. If I go paste in place, which is Control-Alt-Shift-V, it remembers where I cut it from and will paste it back in the exact same place. Like, how nice is that? So let's go back to our preview mode, and we're going to add a drop shadow around that. Maybe we're just going to add like a little stroke to it as well. Black. Or even like a half a point. Just so thin. Okay. And then, yeah, drop shadow. Object, effects, drop shadow, and this was a pretty healthy drop shadow. We're going to leave it like that. Pretty sharp looking. Okay, so good luck with your assignment. When you hand it in, you're just going to hand me in this InDesign file so I can see all your layers and I can see how you've built it. Okay, good luck with yours. This is looking good. I hope yours is looking good too.